In this video, we'll talk about some of the finer points in the basics unit that cover research methods and perspectives in psychological science. We should remember that the goal of basic science is to explain things. We have questions and we want answers. The goal of psychology as a field is to explain variability in human mental processes. So if our goal is to explain variability, then we need to ask ourselves, what exactly is a variable? A variable is anything that takes on multiple values. So, height is a variable. Weight is a variable. Not everyone has the same height or weight because there are multiple possible values that your height and weight can be. Eye color is another variable. And perhaps more of interest to psychologists, we have variables like happiness or life satisfaction, productivity at school or work, and other variables that are relevant to mental experiences. In psychology, we can also differentiate between descriptive and analytical research. Descriptive research is usually more phenomenological. So let's just say, for example, we want to know what the divorce rate is, or how many people get a tattoo each year in America. Just those single pieces of information, on their own, is within the purview of descriptive research. Analytical research involves associations between variables. Put another way, what explains the divorce rate, or what variables correlate with the decision to get tattoos? These are the questions that fall within analytical research. It's worth noting that in psychology, most research is analytical rather than descriptive. I like to think about analytical research using a Venn diagram metaphor that one of my mentors taught me. Let's say we want to explain a possible association or link between two variables. This means we're investigating whether these two variables overlap, and if so, how much they overlap. So we can start by designating a predictor variable, in this case variable A, and an outcome variable, in this case variable B. Sticking with our original example, maybe we can explain some of the variability in the divorce rate for everyone who gets married based on a personality trait like people's feelings of insecurity. We could, in theory, be able to explain some small but non-negligible percentage of the variability in the divorce rate based on this personality trait. And we can use the same process for other types of research questions. Maybe we can predict whether people choose to get tattoos based on whether their friends have tattoos. Maybe we can predict increases in mental health over time based on whether people go through psychotherapy. This is the process we typically go through in psychology research. Now this leads to our next question. If we want to explain things, and if we want to know what association there is between variables, then we need to think about how we measure those variables. In all of psychology research, we need to come up with ways to measure or quantify very abstract things. If we want to understand something very complex like happiness or anxiety or productivity or self-esteem, then we need to have good tools for doing so. So, some of you might be thinking, what's the best way to measure a variable? And this is actually kind of a trick question because for most things we want to understand in psychology, there is no single best or ideal method. A better way to think about this is that in each and every study, we pick a method to use, and every method has strengths and weaknesses, so no single study is ever perfect. Ideally, what we want to do is develop a program of research with lots and lots of studies, each with different methods. If we use a diversity of research methods in a bunch of different studies, and they all show evidence for the same ideas, then we can be a lot more confident in our theories compared to if we only used one particular type of method.